Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're making a glass paperweight. This is one of the first things that everybody learns in a glass studio. I'm Michael.
And I'm Katie, and this is Glass in a Flash.
So we're making a paperweight, and paperweights cover a lot of the really important basic foundation principles for glass making. So Katie just got some glass out of the furnace, 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit. Soft, moves like honey, and we like to start with clear because then we can add whatever color we want. Katie, what color do you have?
Purple.
Purple. So she rolls through these little pieces, these chips or shards of colored glass, and this glass just heats up and sticks like sprinkles on ice cream. So this is a fast, easy way to apply color. The smaller the pieces are, the better they stick and the more coverage we get. It comes in bigger pieces as well, but you get more gaps, so it doesn't give you as thorough of a saturation. Now, Katie rolled through twice, which is gonna give us a better saturation still. So just like you paint a wall in your house, the more coats of paint on the wall, the better. The more coats of color on our glass, the better as well. And now she's getting that color heated in. Once that glass is heated and smooth, then we can start to work with it at the bench. So when she sits at the bench, she sits all the way over, so she's got a good view over the glass, and she keeps the glass close to her body also, so that it's close in proximity, and that makes it easier to work and tool. Katie, what are your plans for this paperweight?
Michael, I'm gonna grab the very end here, I'm gonna pull it, and this just gives us more of a pattern or design on the inside of that paperweight. So I can let that fall and then just kind of gather it up like this, give it a twist.
This is also great if you're new to glass because you get to really fully experience how soft and gooey and malleable it really is. And it's pretty low consequence. It's pretty tough to mess that up. In fact, you're messing it up intentionally to get more interesting color happenings.
There's a little bit of a groove in the top there that's kind of deep, and if I trap a bubble there, it's gonna be too big of a bubble, so I'm gonna heat it in and melt it in just a little. The glass, when it heats up again, it won't necessarily expand a whole lot. It does molecularly, but it will kind of coagulate a little bit, which will make that deep cave become a little bit taller.
Katie, that is not gonna hold very many papers. It's not very big.
I have a lot of papers to hold, so I better make it bigger. So let it cool, and then once it's rigid, I'll go back into the furnace. To tell that it's cold or not, you can also stop turning, look at it. If it's not moving anymore, you can go back into the furnace. If I go into the furnace and the glass is moving too much here, when I get that extra gather of glass, I'm gonna have too much weight and it could fall right back in the furnace. So the more structurally sound that is, the easier of a time I'll have.
And this purple does a great job of showing the heat. So when it's hot, it glows, it's really bright orange, and then as it cools, it starts to get darker. So this particular color has a pretty easy visual indication when it's cooling down. They're not all like this, but this one is good for that purpose. So into the furnace Katie goes. Now all of our glass sits in a big ceramic bowl, 1,000 pounds of glass in this furnace. She dips the pipe down beneath the surface, but we also want to be turning all the time as well, because you can actually see the glass roll up onto the end of the pipe, and that is what prevents you from spearing the pipe way too deep into the furnace, which is another common beginner mistake.
So right now I'm going to cool and shape the glass with this wooden scoop tool called a block. And as I heat that, the steam that you see rising is what's actually the layer between the glass and the wood, which keeps it from sticking. And this gives it a really nice, what we call a skin, where the outside is cooler, but it starts to create a really even heat throughout the whole piece. As I'm in this reheating chamber, the inside will start to heat up, and then I can start to shape it more at the workbench.
Now, we do have a couple different styles of block. There is such a thing as a paperweight block. It's really round and it gives you a lot of the form that you need, but just a normal block works as well. Just depends on how you apply pressure while using it. The other thing that's important is to hold close to the block, because if you hold it out here, it's really heavy and hard to support. One other thing that I like to do is if I'm making a piece, or if you're a new glass maker who doesn't have great turning skills, get your block ready before you gather so that it's prepared at the bench and you don't have to try to search for it. And that's when you drip glass off onto the ground.
So I'll start to shape this with the jacks, but I'm also creating a constriction line where the paperweight will be broken free later. So the jacks here will squeeze a line into this, and I don't want to squeeze too hard at first, I just want to squeeze really easy. The groove will make itself. And as I turn, I'm not turning too quickly or else this glass will widen. So I'm just easily shaping it, turning back and forth.
If you squeeze too hard with those jacks, if you don't have the turning skills as well, you'll start to make flat spots in your jack line, and then you don't ever get a very clean jack line. Now, Katie also has started vertically with the tool and then started to lean away from herself to get that nice taper up to the jack line. When we get a little further into these videos and we're making blown objects, if you have a shoulder of your vessel that's too round up to that constriction, that's a prime place where the glass can break. It's not as big of an issue with something solid, but it's something to think about now because it's going to be important later. And that's what this is all about, is building skills, building a foundation, and adding little steps every single time you make something new.
Now that this has been rounded and the shape is really nice, I'm pretty much finished with it, but I want to let this cool. Every piece of glass has to be cooled and annealed. So we're gonna put this into the oven. And if it looks like this, when it's really glowing like this, it's gonna be too hot and it will slump just a little bit inside the oven. So I'll let it cool even further.
And I'm gonna get some safety equipment so that I can catch this and put it into the oven. So we're about done with this paperweight. We need to put it into our slow cooling oven, the annealer, to anneal the glass. If we just let it sit out, it'll crack and break. So we'll put it into the oven, just under 1,000 degrees, and then it's going to cool gradually, but we need a way to hang on to it to get it from the pipe to the oven. So I've got some big gloves on. I've got a face shield to protect my eyebrows and my beard when I put this into our 1,000-degree oven, and I'm gonna catch this when Katie's ready to break it off.
So this is ready to go. This is a weak connection, but it's not as weak as you think. You can hit this really hard, it might break there, but it's better to control that. So what we do is we thermally shock it by adding something cold, which just means room temperature. For this one, I'm gonna use a little bit of water, and I'll hold the pipe up like this so that the water doesn't fall onto the piece, instead it falls backward this way. But one little drop there, and then a light tap, and that breaks that right off. That is sharp. We can grind it later and flatten it, but the next step is to go into our oven to cool it slowly. So I'll open the door for Michael as he puts his arms into that 900-degree kiln, and we will set that down. Then this will cool slowly. We'll give it maybe 24 hours, and we'll see it tomorrow.
Now, it's important to celebrate your successes with a low five, and that's a paperweight.
If you have any questions, make sure to comment below.
And don't forget to like and subscribe, because next week we're talking fundamentals of the bubble and we're gonna start making cups. Thanks, see you then.
See you then.